World music has been bringing some of the finest international and contemporary dance and music artists to Boston and Cambridge for over 23 years. We are a nonprofit member-supported organization. Please visit us at www.worldmusic.org. Call us at 617-876-4275 and mention you saw us on CCTV and get a 10% discount to our next season. Thank you. We bring you the world.
Welcome to AHA, A Human Among Humans. We're missing one human who might be here, and Michael Koran, and we're going to be talking about the Tao. The Tao was written in about 500 BC in China, they think by Lao Tzu. And it begins saying, if you can tell us what the Tao is, you don't know. So we could spend the rest of the show not knowing, maybe not talking. But we've been reading the Tao from two translations. One by Stephen Mitchell, which is a more modern translation, and he freely translates in order to communicate the meaning to us. And so this is number 42, which happens to have been Jackie Robinson's number, the first black player in professional sports, 1947. This is Tao. I think I'm going to start with actually Tao 43. This is Stephen Mitchell's translation. The gentlest thing in the world, maybe across the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. That which has no substance enters where there's no space. And speaking of no space and no substance, and here she is, the gentlest thing in the world.
Oh, I think you're
actually
a kinder, gentler thing than I've ever met.
And you can move forward actually if you want, because then we're the same size.
Oh, okay, well.
Is that light in your eyes? I think it is. It no. So, the gentlest thing in the world.
Oh, that would be you. Honestly, at times
this is Cambridge.
This is the gentlest.
This is Cambridge. So you're supposed to be a gentleman.
Yeah.
The gentlest thing in the world. That's why I grow a beard to disguise my gentleness.
Yeah. There's a quote I have that reminds me of you that I have on my desk.
Yes.
And it's as we get older, something about realize that how helpful it is to be kind. So as you can see, I'm not remembering the exact quote.
Has its own charm. As you get older, it's helpful to be kind.
Yes, that's okay. Yeah, I guess that's not it.
But it has a certain basic, none of these fancy, the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world.
Oh.
Boy, we've done
I think have we read that one before?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm warming up.
Okay, warming up.
We used to read the one we did read, and then
Yes.
the new one, right?
Yeah.
The gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest. We won't look into too carefully the hardest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That which has no substance enters where there is no space. This shows the value of non-action. Don't just do something, be there. The value of I'm learning that, the value of non-action. It's not quite macho, really. And then it's teaching without words, performing without actions.
That's interesting.
Yes, I'm performing tomorrow in the Elderly Center for a timeshare. 3 o'clock, Erie 45, I think Erie Street. That is the master's way. Boy, that's such an performing without words. No, performing without actions, teaching without words. Wow. I like the profundity of that.
Mm. Yeah, for someone who's been a teacher all your life talking.
Yes.
Um,
So I lost my voice. My voice is coming back now that I'm drinking so much.
mm. Drinking what?
Just anything. Soup,
Mm-hmm.
homemade soup.
Well, I just wanted to clarify for people.
Oh, the way it was rather.
that-
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, very kind. See, you're aware. Women are
Yes.
aware of how people respond to what you say. Okay, so now you can read if you would like. That was Stephen Mitchell's translation. This is Red Pine, who tries to do it very literally. So it'll be a little harder to understand, but more faithful to the original.
Hmm.
Maybe I should do the research. Now you can look. You look. Yeah.
The weakest thing in the world overcomes the strongest thing in the world. What doesn't exist finds room where there's none. Thus, we know help comes with no effort. Wordless instruction, effortless help. Few in the world can match this.
That's both of them are beautiful. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a silence about it.
In the second translation, or both?
In both.
Yes.
That in Gabriel Roth's 5 Rhythms, you go through first. She feels like it's a. I beg to differ that it's a. She feels like these rhythms are just always found in nature, and she just felt like it was the key to so much, and I felt like it was a helpful perspective, but maybe not the key, at least for me. For some people, they really enjoy dancing these rhythms, and so it would start off, she would compose music so that you danced in the sequence of rhythms that she felt like reflected birth and sex and the seasons. And the rhythms would start off in flow. So that's sometimes a sadness when you're dealing with something, or when you say hi, how are you doing, but you don't really mean it. You're starting to weave something. So it starts the connection. It's a flow, and so then from this flow, and you might be holding an issue that you're just trying to spend time with. So that's the flow rhythm, and then from flow, you become clearer, and sometimes that's anger. So from the sadness, sometimes it moves to anger, or other rhythms, like with childbirth, it's the contraction, and with sex, it's the rhythm. So it starts moving into more defined things, and so this flow starts moving into you commit to things, and if you can commit, it then goes into chaos. So that's the
This is
orgasm, or
Wow.
the
Wow. We should have given a warning
the
before.
birth.
Yeah.
That rapid contractions and what happens, the birth, and all this is going on, and then she illustrates stillness. So the music would illustrate some sort of rhythm of stillness, so that you would dance in a way, whatever inspired you to dance in stillness. And some people would really continue to dance in the stillness. And to me, that was the most beautiful dances in stillness, when you're still dancing to no music, or dancing to the rhythm of stillness creates it motivates you to continue to dance. And so she felt like the fruition was really that what happens in stillness, and that it's sacred. It's the honoring of a sacred moment. So it's.
There's one more. I'm waiting for the.
Well, and then it was just stillness. That's the prayer.
That's what those five. Oh, what the, so
5 rhythms. So it's flow, staccato, chaos, stillness. Uh-oh. Wow.
Stay
I
tuned.
can't.
Stay tuned.
The 5. Gabriel Ross 5 rhythms.
Contraction is staccato.
So it's flow. Maybe it's initiation, but
No, that's not
flow, staccato, chaos, lyrical.
Oh.
Lyrical, and then stillness. So it's the happiness and the high and the light, sort of like skipping. It's Celtic music.
I know
Is
how to skip it.
lyrical,
I
like
forgot. Skipping goes. That's right. I could skip.
No.
Wow.
And from lyrical comes.
Oh, and then you rest. Oh. Stillness.
Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting riff on when I'll read the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing. Well, you've been working with people who are dying, right? And that's both gentle and hard? Or am I stretching that? I mean, dying is... I guess you've seen gentle deaths and hard deaths. Maybe that's... That which has no substance enters where there is no space. This shows the value of non-action. I can think of, at this moment, think of death. Teaching without words, help, performing without actions. That is the great teacher's way. Oh my. And want to read this again?
Okay, yeah. The weakest thing in the world overcomes the strongest thing in the world.
So he translated Stephen Mitchell weak as gentle. But even weak is so refreshing. You can be very weak.
So the weakest, weakest thing in the world
overcomes
the strongest thing in the world.
And that is even more than weak. What doesn't exist.
What doesn't exist finds room where there's none.
Because we're mostly made out of space. We're mostly made out of space. And so if we can feel our spaciousness, we can go through anything. I once felt someone hugged me that I was just made out of mostly space. Wow, power. Wordless instruction. I've begun to discover wordless instruction, that what happens even as we're talking, or certainly teaching, what happens between the words is really what's going on. And maybe in performing too. What between what I'm doing. Boom, boom. And then in between, that's amazingly what's happening.
Does something come to mind?
I used to, when I go in to teach now, I try to connect dance with the students in the room before speaking. And be aware of, like even now as we're talking, there's so much is going on I wouldn't know before. Like your eyes, you're shaking your head, all kinds of things are happening now. The words are only a indication, a part of what's going on. Whereas in the past I closed my eye and just be talking. So there's huge, more than words. Okay, now a new one, yes?
Okay. Yeah.
Want to read it?
Okay. Fame or integrity, which is more important?
Gee.
Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive?
Uh-oh.
If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be truly fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
Oh my, that's very important, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's very hard.
Mm.
Well, you're going to realize this because I've been drinking a lot to help my sore throat and
Yeah.
have to respond to all the water that's in me.
Oh,
And so
yes.
you can feel my lack.
Okay, you're going to let me hold
Yes,
it?
yes, I'm going to have to do that.
All right. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is Red Pine's translation. Which is more vital? Which is more vital, fame or health? Which is more precious, health or wealth? Which is more harmful, loss or gain? The deeper the love, the higher the cost. The bigger the treasure, the greater the loss. Who knows contentment, thus suffers no shame? And who knows restraint, encounters no trouble, while enjoying a long life? We'll do this again. Which is more vital, fame or health? Which is more precious, health or wealth? Which is more harmful, loss or gain? That's interesting. What is more harmful, loss or gain? So how can gain be harmful? So we're talking about how gain can be harmful. It says, which is more harmful, loss or gain? So how can gain be harmful? It's just a different perspective. The Tao helps us really see different perspectives. So, the deeper the love, the higher the cost.
Whoops.
Yeah,
It's true.
that's true. Yeah. The bigger the treasure, the greater the loss.
Well,
Who knows contentment, thus suffers no shame. And who knows restraint, encounters no trouble. So restraint from being greedy?
yeah,
Who knows
Yeah,
restraint,
yeah.
encounters no trouble,
yes.
while enjoying a long life.
Now is this like being
It's
a
nice.
wallflower? I'm just a little, don't pay attention to me. I'm restrained.
Who knows restraint? Oh, I see.
Just be gentle. I'll just be a gentle, nice person.
Well,
Or is it deeper
I-
than that?
Yeah, I don't know. Did
I
it say
feel
more about restraint?
Oh, it would in the,
Yeah.
yes.
Um, hmm. Oh. It says it's talking about attacking leaders of the state, occupied parts of their territory. So this is what happens when you don't know when to stop. So it's talking about battles. So it says, still he felt this wasn't enough, so he raised another army, attacked the state of Yu,
And that was the end of it.
etc. And he was killed east of Kaling. His skull became a drinking bowl. His kingdom divided among the victors. He was ridiculed by the world. This is what happens when you don't know when to stop.
And Stephen Mitchell in a
So
more,
it's saying you don't know when to stop. It's not, he had that
yes,
alive feeling
Yes.
of wanting to conquer.
yes. But he went
So-
too far.
Right, so for those of us who have tried to completely restrain
Yes,
ourselves, I don't
he's not saying
know
that.
if,
He's not saying that.
right, because the
Good.
Tao is about flow and,
Whoa.
yes.
Now you say you've been starting
Yeah.
to live by the Tao? You can take that book
yes,
home if you want.
okay.
Yes.
Jeez.
Ooh. So what do you mean by you're starting to live by the Tao?
I guess, in realizing,
I'm trying to do it now.
okay,
Not very inobtrusively.
okay,
So I should have had restraint. I should have been with the Tao without having to do that. And then I would have been fine.
mm.
Mm.
Well, for whatever reason, the Tao had in mind, for me, not that my head wanted this at all, but it seems like the Tao, for me, that I needed to live on my own in the relationship.
Yep.
And not that I wanted to do that and wanted really some other dawning of perspective to make it so that wasn't true, but it just seemed like that for me was the Tao for me, and so that's what I mean by that I'm honoring the Tao.
Wow. And
it's helpful because we've read this, and you wrote the poem that you put on my birthday at one point. The original poem was Tao,
Tao now.
Tao now,
Yeah.
and I gates lifting.
I mean,
So I don't remember the poem, but
Oh.
I know I've lived my life.
Wow.
That between that and reading this and understanding that the flow is that you gotta trust the flow. It's important. It's your life force that sometimes.
That's very
or the-
beautiful. I never knew this.
Tao.
So how would, there's so much, we have so little time. Michael Mack wouldn't mind us taking over his show.
Oh, is he next?
He's next, yes. The God Talk guys is coming up.
Oh, you're going on it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No. And so there's some, oh, thank you for saying this. I never knew that. So how do you know the difference between I in the past
Mm-hmm.
would run away from love?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when love was getting too real for me, but I would be very shooken up by it.
Mm.
And so maybe it's different. If it's the Tao, it might be a more peaceful reading, which was yours really. So maybe that's the difference. I mean, in Christian languages, I have a new friend and she just follows the Holy Spirit. That's how she would say it. Or the Quakers say, you just listen to the Spirit. Or the old song, walk when the Spirit says walk. or talk when the Spirit says talk, which is close to this. So that's very beautiful, and you're at peace with that. Yes? No?
Yes. Yeah, not that it's, other things aren't complicated, but yes,
That's
yes.
really, wow, we have it on television. Well, I'm really moved by that. Because I feel
we just hope
it was a
that-
gift. It was a gift for me
hope.
too, and even though it's very challenging living alone, but we have a loving, beloved friend, a loving friendship, which is very, very important to me. And I never knew this. So it was the Tao. Aha! I can blame the Tao. Well, unfortunately, this is going to be recorded and it'll be on the internet. So
Yes.
why don't you? We have
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
40 seconds to
Uh-huh.
be moved by the Tao to either do something or say something or not.
Oh. Well, we hope that faith in the Tao just, hopefully it brings good things to everyone.
And we discovered that maybe in following it versus running away from love, let's say, there's a certain peacefulness, when a wholeness when you're with the Tao. And you have that.